Hey guys, it's David here and welcome back to The Cake Architect, where today we're going to be showing you how to make chocolate Easter eggs filled with a delicious chocolate cheesecake. So, let's get started. So we're going to start off by tempering our chocolate. This will give it a nice shiny finish and it will hold up better at room temperature. There are a few ways of tempering chocolate, but this way is the easiest one to do at home. So we're going to do all our tempering in the microwave. So I've just melted my white chocolate in the microwave and I'm stirring it every sort of 10-15 seconds until it's mostly all melted, but it's got a couple of lumps in it. And then I just need to finish that off by stirring it in. And this will help to temper it as best we can using the microwave method. And then that is nice and smooth. And I'll just do the same with the dark chocolate. So now I've got my dark chocolate all tempered too. It's time to fill up our moulds. So you've got to make sure your mould is nice and shiny and clean. And I'm just going to start with the white chocolate and I'm just going to dribble that in, just so it's got a nice pretty pattern. And then I'm going to top it up with dark chocolate. And then just move it side to side so that you coat the whole of the inside of the mould. And then you just turn it upside down and let all that chocolate drizzle out from the excess. And then take a spatula, clean up the edge, and then we'll just leave that to set for a little bit and we'll do another layer in a minute. We're just going to pop that in the freezer to set. And don't forget to do the other shell as well, so that then you've got both sides of your Easter egg. So this has now had one layer of the chocolate in there, and I'm just going to fill it up with another one and repeat the process just to thicken that shell and make it a little bit firmer. As it starts to thicken up, because as well the chocolate in there is colder, you might need to just tease it in a bit with a spoon, a spatula, pastry brush, whatever you've got. And then pop that back in the freezer again and just let it firm up. Okay, so while those are in the freezer firming up, we're going to make the cheesecake. So to do that, I've got all my ingredients weighed up and ready to go. I've got 125ml of double cream, I've got 200 grams of cream cheese, 110 grams of caster sugar, a tablespoon of cocoa powder, 150 grams of melted chocolate, not tempered this time, just melted, 50 grams of butter, and 150 grams of digestive biscuits. This is going to make way more cheesecake than I'm actually going to need, but you can do a couple of Easter eggs or you can just make yourself a cheesecake and eat it. So I'm going to start off by whisking up my double cream to sort of like a soft peaks consistency. You can do this by hand, but I'm lazy, so I'll use my hand whisk. So that's at the right consistency now. It's got lots of air in it, it's nice and light and fluffy. And then I'm going to take my cream cheese and my caster sugar and beat those two together. I can use the same whisk again. You don't want to overbeat those ones because the cream cheese will sort of go all runny and gross. So again, a soft peaks is a nice sort of consistency. That's enough for the whisking now. From now on we're going to fold everything in and keep it nice and light and fluffy. So we're going to take, no, that is an awful spoon. That's the worst spoon. So I'm going to add my cream cheese mixture to my double cream. Just pull that all in there and then just fold that in nice and gently. Once that's just about combined, I'll add in my cocoa powder and fold that in as well. And then I'll pour in that chocolate and carry on the same. That's my fresh cheesecake mix made up, and now it's time to make the cheesecake base. So for that, I'm going to start by crushing up my digestive biscuits. The easiest way to do that is in a bag, and you can just crush them by hand. You can hit them with a rolling pin, you really don't need to. And then pop them in a bowl. And And I've melted my butter. Just pour that in. And mix them together. You might find you need a little bit more butter, a little bit less butter, but that's about right for what I'm going for. So now we've got all our components made, it's time to put everything together and finish off our Easter eggs. So, I've got my 2 eggshells, I've got my biscuit base, I've got my cheesecake mixture in a piping bag, some mini eggs, some are chopped up, some are whole, and a little bit more tempered chocolate, and then a couple of clothes pegs. You can use bulldog clips as well for this one. So I'm going to start off by putting my biscuit crumbs into the bottom of my Easter egg moulds. Then I'm going to take my cheesecake mix and just pipe that in to the mould. And I'm going to add a couple of these mini eggs as well, push them in. And I'm just going to make sure that that is completely full with the cheesecake. And then I'm going to smooth off the top. And I want to make sure that that is nice and smooth and I don't have little bits of mini eggs popping up. And then I'm going to take my tempered chocolate, and this is just going to hold it together a little bit better. And pour that on one side. And smooth that off with the palette knife again. And this is going to stick my 2 halves together. Then you take one, pop it on top of the other and line them up. And then with your clothes pegs, with bulldog clips, whatever you've got. I'm using glittery clothes pegs so it's easy for you to see. Just seal them in, and then that's your Easter egg. Now, you can either pop this in the freezer or pop this in the fridge, but it's going to need a good few hours to firm up properly for that cheesecake to set. The Easter egg has been in the freezer now for just over an hour. And I'm going to take it out of its mould, and then it should be all ready. Now the edges are going to be a little bit untidy where that seam was, so you want to get a sharp knife or a scalpel and just tidy them up a bit. And if they're really bad, you can just fill it in with a little bit more chocolate and smooth them over. And there you have it, one cheesecake filled Easter egg. So this is either ready to eat now, or just keep it in the fridge until you want to eat it. We're going to come back tomorrow on Easter Sunday and open this up and eat that. It's Easter Sunday now, this has been in the fridge overnight, and now it's time to share my Easter egg with my loved one. So here's my wife Esther.
Hi! Happy Easter!
Oh, wait. Oh. Oh, thank you. Wow, look at what chocolate all over your face.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.